You can have more than one dream if you want to be it all, but mainly I just want to be a guy that everyone can respect, that everyone can turn to if they ever need help, you know? God, even my Instagram bio says if you want to be friends, we can. I try.
When I went to go have Demario, my grandmother's sister, my Aunt Rose, she took me to the hospital the day that I had Demario. I just thought that that would be a nice way to pay homage to her because she didn't get to see my cousin graduate. She didn't get to see him live his life completely and fully. So I thought if I named my son after him, he could carry on that and get to see and do some of the things that my cousin didn't. My cousin can't. That's how we fondly addressed him. He passed away when he was 16, but unfortunately, my aunt passed before she could see Demario graduate. But I'm just glad he was able to do it. You know, just to it wasn't in vain. You know what I did, and you know, just looking back at her and everything she's done for our family, I just wanted to be able to give her that peace. She played a really big part in my mom's life as well as my life. You know, just knowing that our family has a type of brush with death, I really thought it was important to kind of honor him because I mean, it was just so sad, y'all. Just robbed him of his life.
I think I made friends and enemies in my life. Maybe it's probably because I misunderstood them or they misunderstood me. I wouldn't be where I am now without the people I've met in my life. Without them, I don't think I'd be here. I think I'd still be the delinquent Demario. My mom has been through so much because of me.
When Nick Jr. first started, they were kids, and Backyardigans were one of their favorite shows. They just meant that they were going to build this pirate ship.
Me and my brother, we took the dresser down on the ground, moved it around the shelves, made a little flag, and pretended to be pirates. My mom was furious. But god dang, I loved every second of it. We even had those little McDonald's toys with the ships, and I thought that was so cool.
My children were innovative. You know, you want to be mad, but like I'll tell you this, I was more mad with Danny's shooting baby powder all over the house than I was with them building that. Because it just meant that I needed to give them tools. Most parents is like, you know, fighting toys or men or something like that. No, not with them. We get those Smithsonian kits. Just thinking outside of the box. That's pretty much what it did for me. It taught me how to think outside of the box as far as raising them.
That was before we got evicted. I was back at the house.
They helped me get the boys ready. The sheriff got the boys ready for me. And I just was throwing stuff in trash bags, you know, as much as I could. And mind you, my dad had died about a year before that. So we talking about everything in there. His, you know, the tags from his ashes, you know, everything related to that. Their pictures, my diplomas, my books, you know, everything. They threw everything in the trash. We all, you know, once I got everything bagged up that I could and got the kids in the car, we all rode to the Richmond Redevelopment office on Chamberlain. You know, showed them the paperwork and everything, told them that it was paid. At some point, they had seen somebody that could get back in their house, you know, after everything was sorted out. But it didn't work that way for me. Mr. Benham told me I needed to go to the shelter. And he called Central Intake for me, and I had to go over to St. Paul's on Bell Boulevard at that time. And they didn't have any room here for us. So we had to go to Petersburg. And I'll say before the end of April, guess who called me to tell me that they was throwing my stuff out? Aunt Ro. She was the ear to the streets. So, you know, she had found it out. So by the time we got over there, they had broken everything. My sofas, you know, wash machine, beds, everything was, you know, so that they could throw it out the window. They just throwing stuff out the window. And the last dumpster when we got there was the boys' room. So it was nothing but Spider-Man and cars and Scooby-Doo and, just all of their stuff in there. And that's why I was like, it was really traumatizing because I couldn't leave them at my grandma's house. So I had to take them with me to go find out what was going on over Wilkin Court. And here I am thinking that I done paid my money. It's still the month of April. Then people threw all my stuff away. Knowing that you had told me I couldn't come back and you called the shelter you called the central intake for me, knowing you had taken my money. So that's why I said it was just a lot of trauma compounded on top of each other because at this point I'm driving from Petersburg every day. What was I going to do with my Ford Taurus coming over there to see all of my stuff in the trash?
There was like a bunch of stuff in there I wanted back, but I couldn't get it. It made me sad, man. I just didn't know how to feel.
That was his first time experiencing change. And it was a big change. We kind of knew, that he was going to maybe have some issues because he wasn't really talking at that time. He was 2. They thought he might be on the spectrum already. But, it wasn't a lot of, he speaks very well now, but at that time, his doctor and I, we were talking about it and he kind of shut down. But then once school started, it was really bad. They don't really look further until you get into that school. Until you can't sit in the school setting, they really don't do the child studies and things like that. You can get more assistance with that, but because he wasn't really a behavioral problem.
I think I was around like 10, 9, 8, because I remember just getting expelled from Chimborazo. And my mom, I knew in her face she didn't want to put me there, but she felt like that was the only way. And I understood, now being years later, I understood why. I was just too wild to control. I blew my fuse. I was angered. But then I remember crying my eyes out that night. Just calling for my mom. I did not want to be there. Who's got a salamander in our room?
He was suspended. They wanted to expel him, but I wouldn't allow them to do that. And then one of the teachers pulled me to the side. And this is where we started on the RBHA. It was just a lot of stuff that we had going on. And he couldn't really vocalize. He couldn't vocalize that's where the hurt or the pain came from. It was just shocking. It shocked all of us. I just didn't expect him to do that. But
am I going to be here forever? Am I a bad son? Was I not good enough? I should have been nicer. I shouldn't have been so mean. I shouldn't have hit Miss Jordan in the face.
the principal at Laburnum Elementary School said Demario assaulted her. And in order to bring him back to school, I had to put him in Tuckers. That day, it wasn't too bad because he didn't understand it. This was his first week of school. Not the first month, second month, first week of school. So this is somebody that he knew how to play around other kids, but Danny was younger than him. So it's like, come on, Dan, we're gonna go do that. This is the little brother tagging along with him. So having to go in there and you gonna sit down and you gonna do this, you gonna do that, you gonna do this. No, I want to play right now. I don't want to do that right now.
My mom, I knew in her face she didn't want to put me there, but she felt like that was the only way. And I understood, now being years later, I understood why. I was just too wild to control. And she thought that she couldn't. And I hate that I made my mom go through that. Look, if I just came back from that place, I wanted to go back in because I felt like that's the only place that people cared about me. But now coming back, being an adult, being like soon to be adult, I realized I don't want to go back there. It was not the best place. They held me down and stuck me with needles and took my blood every night. And I just don't want to go through that. I felt like if I went back in there, no one would have to see me again. After coming out of the hospital, I lost my fight. I lost everything. I just felt like if I kept my mouth shut, then I'd be fine. That's why I kept thinking if I kept doing bad stuff, that I'd go back in and no one would have to see me again. I'd just be like that mark on the wall that everyone could forget.
I wasn't really comfortable with it at all, but seeing that they actually made a space for him so that they could run the test and, do all of those things to kind of, to try to avoid him from getting expelled. It was hard, but like I said, it's just another thing that you can't really explain in children's terms. So he may have, felt some type of way about it, but at that point, they couldn't monitor him at home. They couldn't do the blood work and things like that at home because we didn't have a home.
Because it's a good last name. They gave me a vest, but it was too small, so they had this in backup.
Yeah, but then they put all them other sizes up there. I could have measured you for the vest if they said something. I don't even want to do that to you.
I felt like those pills were holding me back, so I just said no. Sure, they take the pain away, but then that pain would come back. Unless I truly faced my pain on my own without any medication, could I truly be free? And I did. And that's when I was like, nope, I'm not going to middle school. I'm not going to high school with these medications. I'm going to leave them behind. That's the old me that wanted to stay hidden, the old me that felt like he needed help, the old me that felt like he shouldn't fight back. No, I didn't want that for me. I was thinking about taking Dad's shades if he lets me. Why? If he says yes, I'm taking it.
Do you remember when your brand new glasses floated down the river? I'm just glad he saw that in himself. He saw the change in himself, or he could feel the difference, so that he could verbally tell them and vocalize to them. And this was all on him. He and Lewis went to the doctor that day, and the doctor agreed.
You ready to watch Stranger Things?
I'm on episode 3.
How?
Because I watched it at 4 o'clock.
Why would you stay up at 4 o'clock? Mom.
Like 4 a.m. Because I wanted to.
She already 3 episodes in.
To what?
Stranger Things.
3 hours? We stayed up for 3 hours.
Hello, Lanaya.
Hi,
How was your day?
If I was the same person I am in high school and in middle school, I wouldn't have gotten bullied that much. Because I wouldn't have cared what people thought of me, what my size was. I just thought I was just a big fat guy. As you get called these words more and more and more, it just sticks to you. Like, But then you think that's what you are. But you're not. Those labels don't mean anything. That's what my friends and family taught me. That's why they bring me joy. I guess you were right doing this at 4.
Well, I didn't get off until 5:15, so I had to do what I could do for you. Come on, take this picture. Where are y'all socks everywhere? I'm not buying them no more. So, what do you got to do?
The hippodrome.
Oh, they doing it at the hippodrome.
Oh, wonderful.
Mario, I think you need to use maybe both buttons. But that's I was just so proud of him. This is too dark.
I applied for Norfolk State, South Carolina University, VCU, VUU, Virginia State University, and Hampton-Sydney. I got accepted to all of them. The first one that accepted me was Norfolk State, then it was Hampton-Sydney, and I saw that full ride. It was like, and my mom was about to cry. She was like, Mario, you got a full ride? I was like, I got a full ride. So where? Hampton-Sydney.
I feel like I'm about
I was scared and terrified at first, but even just looking at him sitting right there right now, it's just like, you took the time to look this up. You took the time to research this, and this is what you want to do. Can't be mad at that. If you believe in your abilities, I definitely support you. Everybody doesn't need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Some people have already done that. We get to be human beings and not burdens on society. Our experiences shouldn't have to be a George Floyd type experience or a Breonna Taylor type experience for people to care. That's pretty much the big thing for us is just watching them turn into what we thought they could be. They're supposed to be better than us, if we do things the right way. So I think we're well on our way to that path.
Oh my God, no way. I swear if she starts crying, I'm gonna start crying too. We fucking made it! We made it!
I know he's gonna do it. I know they gonna make me proud. The backyard again is gonna make me proud.
Yes, you did. I am so proud of you, boy. You look good up there.
It's so hot in the sun.